Super Mario Galaxy 2 is my absolute favorite video game of all time, and also a super important game for me, so I really wanted to wait before making a video on it to make sure it was as perfected as possible. But now, I think it's been long enough, and I'm finally ready to tackle on the monster that is making this video. Galaxy 2 has a big roster of levels, and I have a lot to say about most of them. The selection of stages of this game is also amazing, the best of the entire franchise to me. But that said, no game is perfect, and Mario Galaxy 2 is not exempt from that rule. As much as this ranking is going to be overwhelmingly positive, the lows of this list are very, very low. So Galaxy 2's 6th world is kind of infamous for being not great. The devs were clearly under time constraints near the end of development, or at the very least were out of ideas, which created some of the most infamously terrible 3D Mario levels. And I'll just say right now, the two bottom tiers of this ranking will be extremely short, but I will not be nice to the galaxies they contain. Seriously, some of these levels are so awful, it's genuinely really difficult to believe they came from a game like Mario Galaxy 2. But hey, at least they make for some good content, because as bad as they may be, there's a lot to analyze with most of the bottom spots. And same goes for most of the top spots. And just for most of the list in general, actually. Yeah, like I said, this is going to be a really long video, so buckle up because we are going to be here for a while. Well, I think that's about as much introduction as this video needs, so with all that said, without further ado, let's get into the ranking. And we are starting with the F tier, as always. But surprisingly enough, this tier only has one single entry. I wonder what it could be. Maybe the one galaxy I just made a whole video essay on where I explained exactly why I hate it and think it's the worst Mario level of all time. But who knows, I guess you'll just have to keep watching to find out. Anyway, on a totally unrelated note, at number 49 we have Battle Belt Galaxy. Oh my f***ing god, this galaxy is so insultingly terrible, it is not even funny. Okay, all jokes aside, obviously this is my least favorite level in the game. You already know that because I literally just made a whole ass video explaining why I heavily dislike it. But I'm just gonna use this segment to shit on Battle Belt some more, to hopefully really drill into your head how much I loathe this sad, pathetic excuse of a stage. You know, there are very few things out there that I genuinely would rate a 0 out of 10. No video games, or even any particular aspects of said video games that come to mind, would quite reach that horrendous note for me. Except Battle Belt Galaxy. This quote-unquote level is so devoid of quality, it's actually sad. It brings literally nothing to the table. Nothing about it is good, nothing about it is fun, nothing about it is even tolerable. It is an empty void of unoriginality, tediousness, and suffering. Also, notice how I said it was a quote-unquote level? That's because it is not a level. It is a placeholder that was not fully fleshed out, most likely because of time restrictions the developers had to work with. Now, how do I know this? Well, first of all, because it's incredibly obvious. I mean, look at this galaxy. No one in their right mind would put this in a finished, published game without being forced to. But also because I did a bit of digging and found out that originally, Mario Galaxy 2 had a planned development time of 2.5 years. And exactly 2.5 years after Galaxy 1 came out, Galaxy 2 was released. So it's extremely likely that Battle Belt, amongst other galaxies, are just super rushed and unfinished because Nintendo forced their devs to have the game ready to release in time. Again, I don't have confirmation for this, but as you'll see later on, Battle Belt is not the only late game level that feels unfinished and unoriginal, and I doubt that's a coincidence. Anyway, back to the actual stage itself. Like I said in my last video, Battle Belt is really emblematic of this phenomenon because it is by far the most blatant and awful example of it. I know I'm repeating myself here, but this galaxy is truly devoid of creativity, originality, charm, or anything like that makes most other levels in Galaxy good. Not to mention, it's also extremely boring and unfun to play. That's also why it's in a tier of its own, because it is remarkable for being the only level in this game that is bad in every single way possible. And actually, speaking of that, when I'm talking about the next few galaxies and slandering them because I also hate them, I want you to remember Battle Belt. Remember that not only was it an absolute shoo-in for last place on this list, but I also decided to isolate it in a tier of its own. Really remember that when I'm criticizing the following galaxies. Anyway, yeah, I'm done with Battle Belt now. And for good this time, which means we can move on to the D tier, which only has twice as many entries as the F tier. Yeah, I mean, I told you guys the two bottom tiers were gonna be short, I wasn't lying. Anyway, now I get to talk about the last two galaxies in this game that I actively dislike. I promise this ranking gets a lot less negative after the C tier starts. The few misses in this level selection are just really, really bad. Anyway, number 48, Clockwork Ruins Galaxy. Oh wow, another galaxy that is excruciatingly slow and boring. And also another galaxy which I've made an entire video on already. So yeah, because of that, I'll make this segment relatively short. So like I said in that one short I made like 2 billion years ago, the problem with this stage is that it's unbelievably slow paced, which really makes it insufferable to play through. Seriously, every single obstacle in this galaxy makes you wait for no fucking reason. The slowly rotating clocks at the beginning make you wait, the moving wall here makes you wait, the rolling rocks make you wait, the spikes here make you wait, this random ass elevator makes you wait, the hammers in the secret star make you wait, and I will just not comment on the prankster comet. It's awful and I don't think I need to explain why. Everything in this galaxy is so slow and boring, and for no good reason. Like, I promise you this elevator does not need to be here, it's completely pointless. Oh yeah, this is also another World 6 level that feels super unoriginal. Here it's mainly the music and the skybox, which are both from Slipsand Galaxy and both fit Slipsand Galaxy a lot better. Honestly, that's about everything noteworthy in this galaxy. Clockwork is just very boring, unfun, and lazy, and that's pretty much all there is to say. Number 47, Boss Blitz Galaxy. Okay, so imagine Battle Belt if it was bad instead of like, actually the worst thing ever. That's pretty much what Boss Blitz is. It's a gauntlet of bosses instead of enemies, and they're even Galaxy 1 bosses, so this galaxy works as a cool tribute to the first game. That said, playing through each 4 of the stars in this galaxy is still painfully unfun and feels very unnecessary. I mean, at least it's only 4 stars and not 6, but like, outside of the first one you have a speedy comet, which is completely pointless, and 2 green stars, which are also completely pointless because there's nowhere to hide them in this level. So you're left with this pretty average mission, which is at least a nice, enjoyable reference to the first game. But then you have to play it 4 different times with next to no changes each time for no reason. And it's pretty much tedious and boring in the exact same way it was in Battle Belt. That's what I mean when I say Boss Blitz is a better Battle Belt. Because it at least has a tiny bit of charm and only 4 missions, but it's still really unfun to play through all of it, and for pretty much the same reasons as Battle Belt. But hey, at least I get to fight Boulder Guys and Fiery Dino Piranha, so this galaxy's not, like, the worst thing ever. I mean, I'm still gonna end the segment here though, because I really don't want to talk about Boss Blitz any more than this. It sucks. Alright, now we are on to the C tier, and the levels in this tier are mostly pretty forgettable, but I don't straight up dislike any of them, so we are at least making progress. Let's start right away with number 46, Stone Cyclone Galaxy. Weirdly enough, Stone Cyclone is probably the galaxy I've seen being put at the bottom of a Galaxy 2 level ranking the most times out of any of them. I mean, sure, it's not very good, and it's very unoriginal, but it's not that bad, come on. Like, yeah, obviously the fact that this is a recycled planet from Galaxy 1 with almost no changes sucks, but it's at least decently fun to play. I actually really like the addition of the silver stars and the comet medal in the first mission. It gives you a reason to explore the area and not just cheese everything like you could in Galaxy 1. Also, a big talking point I see people use when they're saying they don't like Stone Cyclone is that it's too difficult, and I'm just gonna say, I think they just have a skill issue. It's really not that hard. Like, honestly, even completing the stage without using the switches that slow down time is not that big of a challenge. And if anything, the quote-unquote difficulty this galaxy holds is pretty enjoyable to me. Okay, it's not all sunshine and rainbows though, this galaxy's still not good. Again, like I said, this is literally just a planet from Beach Bowl with little to no changes, which is super lazy, and I don't think I really need to explain why. This galaxy is also very flat visually. I mean, it's just a big gray rock with big moving gray rocks on it, on a boring blue skybox. It just looks very bland on top of being super unoriginal, and honestly the only thing that's holding Stone Cyclone back from being in D tier is that it's at least a little bit fun. Number 45, Flipsand Galaxy. Okay, this one might be a bit controversial. I'm sorry, but I just never clicked with Flipsville. I feel like in theory it has a cool theme and interesting gimmick, and I should like it, but I don't know man, I always found it boring and uninteresting. Well, the first star here is relatively good. It uses the flip grits in ways that are a bit tame, especially for World 4, but it still does interesting stuff with the concept. All the set pieces are pretty enjoyable. I like the first planet and the part where you have to dodge spikes and walls using the panels. It's good stuff, and even though all of it is fairly easy, it makes pretty good use of the mechanic. But the problem is, most of it is super easy to cheese. That's especially true for the boss fight, which I'm not really a fan of, but even on the other planets I mentioned, you rarely actually have to use the grates, and you can usually just platform your way around the obstacles normally instead. This definitely makes the first mission a bit weaker, but it's still decently fun, and also by far my favorite of the three, because the other two use the spin drill, and that's where shit goes wrong. Out of all the terribly outdated stuff I said in my Mario Galaxy power-up ranking, my opinion on the spin drill is probably the one that holds up the most solidly nowadays. Like, yeah, I do very much still think it's boring and slow, and that it's a very gimmicky power-up in a bad way. It also doesn't really fit Flipsville that well, and what the level does with the spin drill isn't very compelling either. The second mission is okay. It's kinda just basic platforming with the spin drill that ends on this slow but tolerable silver star section. But the prankster comet is just really bad. It's in that same area that had the silver stars, except it's a purple coin mission, so you have to collect 100 things instead of only 5, which is pretty tedious and not very fun. Actually, that's a good way to resume this galaxy as a whole. Not very fun. I don't know, man, it's just really boring, and it feels like it brings interesting concepts to the table without ever fleshing them out nearly enough to make them fun or memorable. Number 44, Twisty Trials Galaxy. Twisty Trials Galaxy is just a pretty inoffensive reference to the bonus stages in Mario Sunshine. It uses the big spinning platforms, which even in Galaxy are pretty fun obstacles to maneuver around. Now for the reason this is so low, well... okay, I haven't really played Sunshine much, but from what I've seen, the point of these secret stages was that they took FLUDD away from you, which made the platforming a lot more difficult. But for some reason, Twisty Trials doesn't take any mobility away from you, but even worse, it gives you a Cloud Flower. You know, a power-up that actively and greatly aids your mobility in a stage that is a reference to a level that originally impaired your mobility. Yeah, this is just really fucking stupid. I have no idea why they did this. As is, Twisty Trials is a pretty cute, fun, and charming reference level, but the addition of this Cloud Flower just completely ruins the point. Both the point of the reference and the point of the level, since it makes it ridiculously easy. I mean, to be fair, this galaxy is also just not that interesting. This random-ass Cloud Flower does bump it down a bit, but even without it, Twisty Trials would not place super high anyway. It's pretty short and somewhat forgettable. Number 43, Spindig Galaxy. Yeah, I think this is another hot take, but I'm really not a fan of Spindig. Part of that definitely comes down to the fact that it uses the spin drill as its main gimmick, and you know, I don't like the spin drill. But even aside from that, this galaxy is just boring as shit. It doesn't have any elements that stick out in positive ways in my mind, except maybe the Silver Star Planet at the end of the second mission. That is a pretty cool set piece. Everything else is very forgettable though. I honestly can't remember anything about the first mission, except for Dig-a-Leg, which is another boss fight I really don't like. Almost like it uses one of my least favorite power-ups in the game or something. Then the second mission is decent. It admittedly uses the spin drill pretty well, as much as it pains me to say, and it's actually pretty fun and creative, but still not anything too crazy. And yeah, the lame-ass rehashy refight of a lame-ass rehashy boss is just not good, man. Like, why did this guy get a refight of all bosses? You could have gotten a Daredevil run of like Giga Lakitu or Prince Picante or something. Why did it have to be mediocre-ass Dig-a-Leg? Yeah, whatever. This galaxy is just painfully unspecial and forgettable. I don't want to talk about it any more than this. It's so boring, dude. Number 42, Mario Squared Galaxy. Realistically, there is no reason for me to rank Mario Squared this high, but I'm ranking it this high. Just like Stone Cyclone, it's another galaxy that's just a planet from Galaxy 1, but like, if you were gonna take a random area from the first game, this is absolutely the one you should have gone with. I already said this in the Galaxy 1 level ranking, but the pixel art Mario planet is an absolute standout from Toy Time, and I honestly really don't mind it being in Galaxy 2. The first star is very fun, and it honestly works a lot better with the panels rather than the silver stars, because it encourages you to explore a bit more. Then there's the absolutely legendary Luigi's Purple Coins. Like I again said in the Galaxy 1 Galaxy ranking, this is my favorite star from the first game, and it's about a solid here. I really like the addition of the Cosmic Clones here, and the fact that there's only 100 purple coins now instead of 150. Both of these elements really contribute to making the mission more difficult and exciting. Although I don't like the fact that the weird flipping platforms from the Galaxy 1 version were removed. That's the main thing that made the planet so hard to traverse originally, and I think it would have been perfect to have those on top of the other changes to make this level really difficult. But oh well, I guess this is still pretty good. Anyway, now if you're wondering why this is at number 42 despite how much I just complimented it, well, at the end of the day, it is literally just a planet ported from Galaxy 1 with barely any changes, so I can't really see myself putting it higher than this. this is still a very lazy and boring idea for a stage, despite how great these two stars are gameplay-wise. Number 41, Honey Hop Galaxy. Oh wow, Honey Hop is another very boring stage that's not really worth talking about, because we really needed more of those. Yeah, I mean, this is just the most standard bee mushroom level you could imagine. Even Honey Climb is less standard than this. How do you even accomplish that? Whatever. Honey Hop is pretty inoffensive, I guess, but it's also just a very, very generic Bee Mario level, with a generic Bee Mario song and the generic Bee Mario theming. There's really nothing noteworthy going on here. You just traverse the level, then climb up this planet to help the Honey Queen or whatever. Oh wait, actually scrap that. The second star is pretty good. It's the first of a couple chimp challenges I'll talk about, and this one is actually amongst my favorites. You have to jump on a bunch of Octogoombas in a row to try and get a better score than the chimp. This isn't the only star that does that exact concept, but I think it fits best here with the open and explorable area of Honey Hop's second planet. Plus, this is also just a really novel and fun idea in general. I'm not gonna lie, this mission absolutely carries this galaxy. If it wasn't for it, Honey Hop would perhaps be the most forgettable piece of filler this game has to offer, but now it gets to place higher than it deserves because of the chimp. Dude, I actually love this character so much. It is a crime that Nintendo has never brought him back. Anyway, I'm kind of rambling at this point. Honey Hop is a really boring galaxy that at least has one pretty good star, so it's not awful or anything. Number 40, Sweet Mystery Galaxy. Sweet Mystery is just yet another galaxy I find a bit forgettable, though weirdly enough, I think this one is actually pretty good. It's got a very nice, spacey, quiet atmosphere, some decent use of the bulb berry, and a really cool theme. It's just a very enjoyable, short and sweet level, with pretty much nothing wrong with it. I mean, it's definitely a style over substance stage, which I'm not a huge fan of, and it's also a bit shorter than I'd like, but it's still pretty solid, both in its first and second mission. It's still somewhat forgettable, like I said, because of how short and simple it is, but I don't know, it's nice and charming, even if it's not anything too crazy. I like it. Oh, also, this is another galaxy that has a star on top of a giant cake, and that's just cool as shit, you can't deny that. Number 39, Beat Block Galaxy. You know, I kinda have a sweet spot for Beat Block Galaxy. I mean, I didn't place it super high, because objectively, it's not amazing or anything, but honestly, I like it. It's pretty short and sweet, and it has a good vibe. I really like the blocks that change with the music itself, and the big pyramid of blocks in the Prankster Comet is surprisingly a really good and slightly difficult obstacle. I think this galaxy's pretty fun, and its relatively simple concept doesn't overstay its welcome. I do wish it wasn't as short and easy, which is also what made it play solo, but overall definitely not a bad level. Number 38, Flash Black Galaxy. Flash Black is really similar to Beat Block, in the sense that its main gimmick is also one that interacts with the music. And with the same one actually, they both use the same song. The gimmick this time around is that the stage has flashes of light on beat with the music every few seconds, which lets you periodically see the platforms you need to walk on. It's a cool gimmick, and it's used pretty well in the first section with this tower you need to climb up with Yoshi. The second planet is a bit weird though. You're meant to use the flashes of light to platform your way through here, but there's a bunch of coins and silver stars that are visible, and you can just jump to them because they'll always be placed above ground. Not to mention, there's also one or two platforms here that are just visible, like always. So yeah, that kind of defeats the purpose, but the first planet is still really solid. And the one thing I think bumps this galaxy up a bit is the second star. It's a rum comet on the second planet, and while it does pretty much just completely ditch the gimmick, it's still a really fun and challenging mission. The timer to kill all these Octogoombas is surprisingly pretty tight, and honestly I just wish all the enemies didn't completely give away where the platforms are, making the flashes pretty much useless, but it's still a really fun time, and so is this galaxy as a whole. It's got a cool gimmick and some pretty neat ideas, even if it is also pretty short. And now we are done with the C tier and moving on to the B tier. The levels in this tier are starting to get more and more memorable, and it's around here we'll get our first actually great galaxies. Let's start the B tier with number 37, Honey Bloom Galaxy. Yeah, this is pretty much just a less boring version of Honey Hop. It has an actual theme, it has an original music track, and I'd also argue it makes much better use of the bee mushroom. I really like how they paired it with 2D areas. It really fits with the power-up and kinda helps it make feel less slow than in 3D. I also think the theme here is a lot more interesting, with all these flowers, vines, and giant grapes, I guess. Yeah, I don't really know what they're supposed to be, but they make for some pretty cool obstacles. Oh, also the secret star here is the dumbest shit I've ever seen, and I love it for that. It's just up this wall, right at the start of the level. There's no challenge to it, and you can just get it within like 30 seconds of booting up the level, and I just find that hilarious. I know it's really bad in its design, but it's just such a dumb idea that I kinda like it. It is also unironically a solid hiding spot. It's definitely easy to miss until you get further in the level and you can see it far away, giving you a hint that you missed something. This mission is actually really charming and I will die on that hill, I don't care how lazy it is. Anyway, I'm going a bit off topic here. Honey Bloom is overall a pretty solid and charming stage that surprisingly manages to use the bee mushroom in fairly fun and creative ways. Number 36, Boulder Bowl Galaxy. Hey, so imagine Spindig if it used an actually good power-up instead of the spin drill. Well, that's pretty much what Boulder Bowl is. They actually have a lot of stuff in common. They both use a Galaxy 2 power-up as their main gimmick, they both have a similar vibe, both of their first mission end with a boring boss fight. I mean, these two are really similar if you think about it. Like I said though, Boulder Bowl uses the rock mushroom, which I do find a lot more fun and well designed, so it does get points for that. Well, its stars are also overall better. Apart from the first one, which is a bit boring, you have a Gearmo escort mission where you have to bring a Goomba to this Gearmo without it getting squished by a rolling chain chomp. This is honestly an idea I found really fun and creative, and the third star is not so bad either. It's another Rom Comet, except here you have to defeat a bunch of crabs using the rock mushroom. It's pretty difficult as well. The timer isn't super generous, and the crabs can actually be a bit hard to hit. I also think this is one of the better uses of the Rom Comet for sure. It's pretty original and a fun time overall. Boulder Bowl does definitely have some really cool ideas, but its first and main star does kinda suck and is very boring, which is the main thing holding it back from being actually great. Number 35, Flip Out Galaxy. Okay, I'm gonna be honest here, this is literally just a worse flip swap. It's clearly going for the same vibe, but the gimmick, the atmosphere, and the music here are all a downgrade. And yes, I'm aware they have the same music, but it really doesn't fit as well in Flip Out. The one thing this Galaxy does get right though is the gameplay. It's really fun and engaging, and pretty difficult, but that's kind of everything it's got going for it. Like, visually, it's very flat and not super compelling, it doesn't really have a precise vibe or ambience it's going for, it's overall a bit forgettable, and honestly the second mission is kind of pointless. Like, yeah, sure, it builds off of the first one, which is really good and fun, but also when I say build off of, I mean that it just adds cosmic clones to the level and that's it. Now don't get me wrong, I adore cosmic clones as a gimmick. I think they're super fun, effective, and memorable, but they don't really work that well in this mission and don't make for a particularly effective threat in this context. Okay, I'm probably being a bit too negative right now. I still like Flip Out Galaxy, it's just got some flaws that are holding it back from being as great as I wish it was, despite how good and balanced its gameplay is. Number 34, Bowser Jr.'s Fiery Flotilla. Oh, I am gonna get flamed for this, but I really don't like Gobblegut. I know he's like a fan favorite boss from this game, but if I'm being honest, I really do not get the hype. He's just kinda boring, and I don't find the mechanic of hitting his bulges really that fun or engaging. He's pretty unspecial and annoying to me. I wish I could see what y'all see in him, but I really don't, I'm sorry. Aside from that though, Fiery Flotilla is a pretty good level. It is extremely short, but honestly I think that's fine for the first castle level in the game. Plus, outside of that little flaw, everything here is pretty good. The music is top tier, the skip you can pull off with the thwomp is really sick, and I like the small planet before the fight. Really, the only thing missing from this galaxy is more content, because it's ridiculously short. Oh, actually, that and a good boss fight, that would also be nice. Number 33, Fleet Glide Galaxy, and 32, Wild Glide Galaxy. Alright, the Flizzard Galaxies. I'm not gonna lie, I think these two are underrated. I generally really don't mind motion controls in the Galaxy games, and this is a prime example of that. Flizzard feels pretty natural to control, he's just clunky enough to make his movement feel distinct yet still fun, and the levels attached to him also make great use of the gimmick. I do definitely think Fleet Glide is weaker. I know most people would say the opposite, but I'm just a lot more fond of the nice, relaxing forest theme in the first Flizzard Galaxy. The music, the water and trees, and the split paths in the cave are all really nice touches, and they add a lot to the overall amazing atmosphere this galaxy has. I mean, Fleet Glide is still good though. I love how it's more difficult, especially with where the rings for the Comet Medal are placed, and I can still appreciate the more tense and stressful vibe it's going for. I just don't like it as much as the one in Wild Glide. So yeah, these two are perfectly pleasant levels that really don't have any notable flaws. They're just like not full-on developed stages and like more like gimmicky minigames, so they are a bit low despite how great they are. Number 31, Haunty Halls Galaxy. Honestly, I think Haunty Halls really nails this spooky ghost aesthetic. First thing I love about this galaxy is that it doesn't go the traditional way, offering us another boring haunted house theme level, but it instead goes for a totally different vibe, with its completely open areas, its use of conveyor belts and moving platforms, and elements other than just booze that add to the theme, like the other ghostly enemies, the music, or the skybox. It all makes for a level that is not only really fun, but also one that stands out with a really uniquely executed theme that works wonderfully well. Plus, on top of all that, the Mario World music remix is amazing. Seriously, the remixed music tracks in this game are absolutely peak. Like, have you listened to Lava Layer? It's incredible. Anyway, we're deviating from the point here, let's get back on track. So, why is Haunty Halls this low if I seemingly like it this much? Well, it is kind of a style over substance galaxy, unfortunately. I mean, I don't mind too much since the style is amazing, but I've definitely seen better gameplay from this game. Like, pretty much everything in this level is surprisingly easy. A lot of the platforms move pretty slowly, the giant boosts chasing you in the second mission are really not as threatening as they look, and same goes for the enemies eating the platforms. They seem cool, but they don't really change much in practice. This is also another case of a Cosmic Clone Springster Comet being nearly pointless. Yeah, I mean, it's just the last planet of the second star, but with clones chasing you instead of big boos. I guess it is slightly more difficult like this, but it doesn't really make that big of a difference. So overall, this galaxy does have a really compelling theme and atmosphere, but it's a bit lacking in the gameplay department. Number 30, Rolling Masterpiece Galaxy, and number 29, Rolling Coaster Galaxy. And there we have the other two motion control galaxies. I said in my Galaxy 1 ranking that I really liked the Starball, and that definitely holds up. It's still by far my favorite of these gimmicks. Both of these levels also make good use of it. I really love the artsy theme in Rolling Masterpiece, and there's some pretty neat obstacles that use the limited movement of the ball pretty well. Then the Speedy Comet is kinda lame, but there are some changes in it, like this key moving to a different spot and this new grass planet, so it's not an entirely worthless mission, but it's still not super creative, which is pretty ironic given the theme of this galaxy. Then there's Rolling Coaster, which I don't only think is better because of the lovely Mario Kart reference with the Rainbow Road, but also because this Springster Comet is incredible. It's an intense and difficult purple coin star with little room for error, that's also super fun and engaging. It's definitely up there as one of my favorite Prankster Comet missions. That's honestly the main thing that makes this galaxy the better of the two Starball ones for me, but they're both still pretty good and both pretty similar in quality. Number 28, Upside Dizzy Galaxy, and 27, Rightside Down Galaxy. And we have yet another group of two galaxies, this time being Upside Dizzy and Rightside Down. You know, I don't know if I have a ton to say about these levels. They're pretty simple and effective. Their primary gimmick is messing with the gravity in 2D areas, which is paired with other creative ideas, making these levels really fun despite how overdone that gimmick is. I also really like them aesthetically. The background walls changing color with the gravity is a really nice detail, and it looks pretty good, especially in Rightside Down. Oh, also the crate burning missions are really cool. They're probably the two missions whose difficulties are the most overplayed in the whole sub-series though. Like, guys, they're not that difficult, you just have to spam fireballs. They're still really fun and creative though, I like them a lot. But out of these two levels, I'd say I like Rightside Down a bit more. Like I said, because I enjoy it more aesthetically, with the brighter colors and the walls being broken, letting you see the skybox, which I think pairs really nicely with the theme of the level. But also because I think the first mission here makes better use of the gravity changes, and is overall a bit more fun. Both of these are still really cute and fun galaxies though, I enjoy both of them a lot. Alright, we are now officially onto the A tier. The galaxies here range from great to some absolute masterpieces. And also, yeah, over half of the entries on this list are A tier and above. Look, literally the first thing I said in this video is that Mario Galaxy 2 is my favorite game of all time. You can't say I didn't warn you. Number 26, Flip Swap Galaxy. Oh hey, I get to talk about better Flip Out now. Yeah, so pretty much everything that didn't work in Flip Out works here. The vibe is really nice and fits well with the music this time. The level isn't ugly because it's not made of these boring ass gray blocks, and the Prankster Comet in Flip Swap is definitely not as redundant. Even aside from all that though, the things that did work in Flip Out mostly do here as well. Apart from maybe the difficulty, the level is still really fun. It uses the flip panels really well, pairing them with chain shops and electric fences. And yeah, that's kind of everything that did work in Flip Out, huh? Just the gameplay? Anyway, I need to stop talking about that. This segment is about Flip Swap after all. Well, like I said, a Springster Comet also works pretty well. The purple coins here are a pretty natural fit, they don't make the mission too boring, and they're decently difficult to grab with all these hazards. Overall, this is a really great galaxy that sure is a bit simple and short, but is extremely effective and memorable, and still very fun in spite of its flaws. Number 25, Puzzle Plank Galaxy. Puzzle Plank Galaxy, am I the only one who feels like this was a scrap part of Gold Leaf in the first game? No, like seriously, there's a bunch of wood everywhere, the bosses from Honey Hive that were in Gold Leaf are back, and we even fight Bugaboom on a golden version of the original arena. Like, that can't be a coincidence, there's definitely something going on here. I don't know, maybe it's just a reference or something? Well, probably not actually, this game does have scrapped ideas from Galaxy 1. I don't know, I'm thinking too hard about this, I should probably actually talk about the level instead of going on a random tangent. Anyway, yeah, Puzzle Plank is really good. I love the upbeat music and the atmosphere here. It's so lively and fun. The theme is pretty cool as well, with everything being made of wood and all the saws cutting through it. I do think it's kinda weird how slowly these saws move though. Like, they're supposed to be the big obstacle of the last section, cutting off platforms, but they're so slow that they realistically barely change anything. Aside from that though, everything in the first mission is great. Yes, even the Mandibug stack. I know this fight is incredibly stupid, but if you remember the Honeybloom segment, you know that I like stupid stuff in this game, because it's honestly really funny. The secret star in this galaxy though is not really anything to write home about. Bugaboom is a decent boss, especially with the Cloudflower, which is way better suited for the fight than the Bee Mushroom, but I don't know, he's not that special, and the coin grinding before getting to him is also pretty boring. Although the purple coin mission is pretty great. I don't know how popular of a take this is, but I honestly really like it. It's fun and super satisfying to collect all the coins, and the clones do add a lot, especially when you miss a coin in a trio and have to backtrack near the clones. It's great stuff. All in all, this is a really good galaxy that definitely has its lows, but its highs more than make up for that. Number 24, Bowser's Gravity Gauntlet, and number 23, Bowser's Lava Lair. I said in the Galaxy 1 ranking that I like castle levels in the Galaxy games that resemble classic 2D castle levels, and both of these are prime examples of that. They follow a pretty classic structure with lava, fire theme obstacles, womps, and 2D sections, which are all accompanied by this amazing music track. Seriously, the Mario 64 remix in both of these galaxies is a supreme banger. You should really listen to it. Actually, you're probably doing that right now because I'll most likely put it as the background music for this segment while I'm editing. Well anyway, Gravity Gauntlet and Lava Lair are both really fun stages that I love to play through, even in the speedy comets. Like, yeah, they're definitely rehashy and a bit boring, but I honestly enjoy them. I think it's pretty fun to run through these levels as quickly as I can. And the Bowser fights are also really good. I don't have much to say about them, at least for the first two iterations. They're just pretty cool and inventive. I like how the meteors work as a gimmick, and I also like all the other bullshit Bowser spews at you. It's good stuff and makes the fight actually a bit difficult to manage at times. That's about it for these two galaxies. They're both fairly simple castle levels, but they're still really well designed and imaginative. Number 22, Supermassive Galaxy. Man, this one's kinda tragic. So Supermassive starts with this incredible first mission. It's got a super creative and compelling theme of making everything huge. The blocks, the Goombas, the platforms, the thwomps, hell even the Lumas are giant. It does so much with the theme, the amount of really memorable things here is crazy. Plus the mission is also super fun on top of being really novel and unforgettable. It's really an amazing first mission. That's honestly one of my favorites in the whole game, but then it just goes downhill from there. After that, there's a secret star, which to be fair is really creative, but it's still a bit boring. You just replay the level again, and then walk all over this random grass planet. But then the third mission is a speedy comet, and not like a good one, it's just the first mission again with a timer slapped onto it and no other changes. Yeah, this galaxy is honestly really disappointing. It had such a good first impression, but after that first star, there's pretty much just filler. And it really sucks, because I could have easily seen this as one of the best levels in the game if it actually fleshed out its ideas into 3 unique missions. But no, as is, there's one incredible one solid one, and one that's just really boring filler. I mean, Supermassive still placed fairly high, because again, the first mission is absolutely amazing, like I said, but it's still kinda sad how much wasted potential this galaxy has. Number 21, Freezy Flake Galaxy. Oh hey, it's that one galaxy whose music I use in all of my tier transitions. It's unironically really good. It uses that one motif that's like everywhere in Galaxy 2, which I love, and it has a super warm and welcoming vibe. It's a blast to listen to. Anyway, yeah, music aside, this galaxy is still really good. It as a whole also has a pretty fun and welcoming vibe. I love the snow and fire theme here and how it's executed. I love the little snow statues and the snowballs you can roll around and the random slide in the middle of the level. They probably just wanted to reuse that from Tall Trunk, huh? Anyway, my point is, this galaxy is super charming and has an amazing atmosphere. It's also pretty great in terms of gameplay. Destroying all these snow statues and blocks with the fire flower in the first mission is super fun and satisfying, and the ending planet is so memorable, and such a good note to end a mission on. But I really cannot say the same about Sorbetti. Yeah, he's still mid as hell, that didn't change since my Galaxy Boss ranking. And honestly, the second star is just a bit weaker in general. Using the rock mushroom to destroy the statues is a cool change of pace, but it's slow since you can only hit one at a time. And here, you pretty much have to hit them all since you're looking for launch star pieces, which are hidden in the statues. After that though, there's this cool looking planet right before the fight, that even has this nice secret area with a few 1-ups. Then the third mission is another chimp minigame, which I once again love, especially since you get to skate here, and skating in Mario Galaxy is cool as fuck. Well, you know, it is also just a really fun and creative mission. Yeah, this galaxy has an incredible vibe and pretty great gameplay to go with it. I mean, how could you not love it? Number 20, Boo Moon Galaxy. Alright, after better flip out, we got better haunty halls. Just like that level, Boo Moon is super charming and it subverts the classic haunted house theme in really creative ways. It has a ton of unforgettable set pieces. The Dark Maze Planet, the Green Poison Swamp, which is honestly one of my favorite areas in the game aesthetically, the pop-up book-looking planet, it generally just has a super cool and memorable theme. And it's also fun as hell. It's got a greatly balanced difficulty and some very well designed parts. Especially the snake block segment, with the Octoboo's and the Secret Star, and everything that has to do with the Boo Mushroom in the second mission. It's all great stuff. It uses the same music as Haunty Halls as well, which fits just as well here, if not even better. I honestly don't have that much more to say. Boo Moon is just very consistently fun with its two main stars, and its simple but fun Secret Star, and it also has an amazing atmosphere. I really have no complaints about it. Number 19, Sky Station Galaxy. Wow, what a phenomenal introduction for this game. Everything in this galaxy is just so memorable. The incredible music, all the little planets, the bonsai bills, the boss fight. Okay, maybe not the boss fight, it is kind of lame, but holy shit, this galaxy is great. It's so fun. The first mission is a really good first mission for the whole game, and the second one is incredible. It's so well designed, and it has so many unforgettable set pieces, it's crazy. Now, in the spirit of the only boss in Sky Station, the third mission is kinda mid, unfortunately. It's just a speedy comet of the first star, which is a bit boring, but it's definitely not bad, just underwhelming. The other stars are still great though, like I said. The music in both of them is incredible, they're pretty fun and imaginative, and the theming in the second one with all the dangerous obstacles and the chain chomps and bonsai bills is amazing. Now all of that might seem like a whole lot of praise for a galaxy placed at number 19, but the problem here is that this level is kind of ridiculously easy. As much as it is really fun, there's literally zero challenge here. Sky Station is about as easy as it gets. And obviously that makes sense for the literal first level in the game, but like, it's still lame how incredibly trivial every star in here is. It definitely takes away a lot of the replayability the stage would have had otherwise, but it's still overall a really fun time and super well designed. Number 18, Throwback Galaxy. You know, for a galaxy that's pretty much just a level ported over from 64, this is really fantastic. They really make it feel fresh with the great retexturing, the remixed boss fight, and all the little changes like the new dialogue and the sling stars in the cannons. The first mission has you climb up the fortress to fight King Womp, which is a really good and creative boss, and you also get to explore a bit to find some secrets like 1-ups or the Comet Medal. Then the second star fully commits to the exploration, having you find 5 silver stars around the level with the Cloud Flower. It's obviously a blast to use that power up, and the silver stars are pretty well hidden. It's overall a really fun mission. The third one though, well, it's just the second one again but with a timer, and a really lenient one at that. I don't like speedy comets, especially not ones that don't bring any changes to the original level, and this one is exactly that. And it sucks. But the rest of the galaxy is still wonderful. I love walking around this remake of Womp's Fortress and exploring the place. Plus it's got some really good missions. A great galaxy overall. Number 17, Yoshi Star Galaxy. Yeah, I mean, it's the Yoshi Galaxy, of course it's gonna place high. Yoshi is really cool in this game, and so is this level by default. Okay, jokes aside though, Yoshi Star is such a fun galaxy. I love the atmosphere here and all the Yoshi stuff. The berries, the grapple flowers, the mud, Yoshi himself, and obviously the banger f***ing music track. Holy shit, is this song great. Oh, and there's also the iconic volcano shot Nintendo uses in every trailer. My point is, this stage has a ton of stuff to love. Plus, it's really fun to play through. The first mission is a really good introduction to Yoshi, who is honestly a blast to control in this game, especially when you know about infinite flutters and all the weird momentum stuff. Then the second star one has a cool boss fight, I guess. I don't know, it's kinda mid. Chucking Spinies with Yoshi is a bit slow and not the most interesting gimmick in the world, though again, the boss fight is at least pretty good. And the third mission is honestly one of my favorite prankster comets in the game. It's a fairly difficult romp comet where you have to defeat 30 Spinies scattered through the first planet with the Rainbow Star. The timer's a bit tight and the Spinies are well hidden, but the mission is just difficult, not really unfair or anything. It's honestly really fun and well balanced. Overall, this is a super pleasant and fun galaxy, with a lovely atmosphere and tons of great ideas. Number 16, Space Storm Galaxy. Finally, the one good stage that uses this music track. Yeah, Space Storm is a pretty kick-ass galaxy. It's got a great atmosphere, which is something I feel like I'm going to be repeating a lot for these top galaxies, and some equally great gameplay to go with it. The more dark and tense vibe in this level is honestly perfect for the beginning of World 5. The music is insanely good and fitting, the dark cloudy skybox is a really nice touch, and same for the overall darker color palette in this stage. It really all contributes to making the ambience here as great as it is. And like I said, the gameplay is also just as good. The first mission is really the star of the show here. It shows off the atmosphere of the level perfectly with all the electric rails, bombs, and topmen. It's also really fun. I particularly like this 2D section at the beginning, and obviously guiding the bomb through the glass in this one section is a super cool and creative idea, and definitely a standout at this galaxy. Now, admittedly, the second star is kinda lame. Like, yes, it is just a retextured part of Boy Base Galaxy from the first game, but I mean, it's still fun, and it's still just as cheesable as it was back then. So honestly, I don't mind it too much. Although I don't understand where there's switches that slow down time at the bottom of the planet. Like, why is that here? Traversing this section without the switches is already easy, why would you make it even easier? This is literally World 5, why are we giving the player an option to make a section that's already not difficult completely trivial? That's just kinda dumb. Anyway, yeah, this mission is fine, but the third one is a lot more than just fine. It's another enemy escort mission, except it's a lot more difficult than the previous, since this time you have to guide a top man through this narrow planet with a bunch of top minis and bombs to bring to this Gizmo. It's pretty hard and super fun to do, and like I already mentioned in the Boulder Bowl segment, this is just such a creative idea for a star, I really love it. So yeah, this galaxy has a really good and consistent atmosphere, and some amazing gameplay, it's pretty great. Number 15, Cosmic Cove Galaxy. As I've said before, both in this video and I think in the Galaxy 1 ranking, I don't really remember, I'm not usually a fan of style over substance levels in Mario games. Now I want you to take that fact and throw it out the window because it could not apply less to Cosmic Cove. Like, my god, the music and the vibe and the visuals in this galaxy are just so incredible. It's so calming and peaceful, and it's just so enjoyable to bask in this level's atmosphere. It's kinda like Space Junk from the first game, except somehow even better. I don't even really know how to describe it. Playing Cosmic Cove, especially the first mission, is such a surreal experience. It's the kind of thing you very rarely feel from a Mario game. Now the second mission still definitely carries a bit of that charm and ambience the first star was completely full of, but I don't really appreciate the 2D section and the planet with a spindrill as much as anything in the previous mission, like the big open water area and how you get to freeze all of it with this magical looking cutscene, and then you get to climb the frozen waterfall to get the star. Holy shit, it's so amazing. Oh, and the secret star also exists, I guess. But really, when people say they like Cosmic Cove, they mean they like the first mission, and I am people. It really just carries Cosmic Cove into being one of the best and most breathtaking levels in the entire game. It's truly just beautiful and amazing to play through, even in its lesser stars, because the atmosphere remains at least present throughout the whole stage, even if it does get a bit weaker with every mission. I don't really think I have the right words to describe this galaxy and how I feel about it perfectly, but seeing how much praise and love Cosmic Cove receives from the player base, I don't think I really need to sell you on this level. It's incredibly enjoyable, and I think we can all agree on that. Number 14, Hytale Falls Galaxy. Alright, so take everything I said about Yoshi's Star, but make it better and faster and more fun. Hytale Falls kinda takes the same base, being a galaxy fully centered around Yoshi, except it does pretty much everything better. I mean, Yoshi's more fun to control thanks to the dash pepper, this level is paced better, the skybox is better, the gameplay is better, the overall quality of the missions is better. Yeah, this galaxy is just awesome. Okay, well first of all, let's talk about the first mission here. It's the only regular one, if I can say that. Well, you probably get what I mean. It's a really solid introduction to the dash pepper and its ability to walk up walls. It makes great use of that mechanic with all the obstacles and moving platforms you have to maneuver around on your way to the star. That mission is also helped massively by the fact that it just has the dash pepper. The dash pepper is an insanely cool power-up that's super fun to use, and you cannot change my mind. It's really amazing. Anyway, like I said, I also really like the skybox here with the huge waterfalls in the background, and the music, well, you might have noticed I didn't mention it being better than the one in Yoshi's Star, and that's because it's not. It's really, really good though, just Yoshi's Star is nearly unbeatable. Also, I really like how this galaxy looks. I don't know how popular of a take this is, but I think the giant wood platforms with the bright, plasticky colored blocks look really unique, and they help Hytale Falls stand out and have a really cool visual identity. Oh, also, yeah, this galaxy has two other stars. Right. I mean, the Prankster Comet's really cool. I love the theme of the level being half destroyed from a meteor rain. It's a super unique and sick concept, where you wouldn't exactly expect it to fit, yet it really does somehow. Then there's this secret star. Yeah, I don't know, it's really weird. You feed this Hungry Luma coins halfway through the level and it makes this grass planet with kleptodes. Why? I mean, it's a fine star, using Yoshi to get the silver stars is fun, and I always love an obscure Mario enemy that appears in a single tiny area of a single game, but I feel like this planet really doesn't fit well at all in this galaxy. Like, why a grass planet with silver stars? That just feels weirdly out of place. I mean, regardless, it's definitely not meant to be the standout of this galaxy anyway. That's obviously the first star's job, and at least it's fantastic. And so is Hytale Falls in general. It's an amazing galaxy with great and fast gameplay, and also not my favorite level that has the dash pepper, surprisingly enough. Well, now we're finally done with the A tiers, which means we're going to talk about some S tiers next. This is really where the galaxies get exceptionally great. These are all absolute standout levels for Mario Galaxy 2, and this is the tier where we start to get galaxies that are legitimately amongst my favorite Mario levels of all time. So, let's not waste any more time and start the S tier right away with number 13, Slipsand Galaxy. You know, this is the kind of thing I expected from Dusty Dune. A desert level with good music, good theming, creative elements, and good gameplay. But no, we got this pile of shit instead. Luckily though, Galaxy 2 corrected that mistake and gave us Slipsand Galaxy. This is seriously exactly what I'd expect from a Mario Galaxy sand level, and it's amazing. There's so many incredible set pieces here. The slide, Squizzard, the Sunshine Bird. This galaxy is just so good. Back to that second element though, yeah, as much as Squizzard is a good boss, the Daredevil run in this galaxy kinda sucks. I don't think replaying this fight with 1 HP is a particularly worthwhile or memorable experience, although that is my only complaint about this stage, so hey, that's at least something. Like I said though, Squizzard is pretty fun in his first appearance, and so is the first mission as a whole. It's definitely not my favorite of the three, but it's really solid. It's a more classic take on a desert level, though it still has a lot of that Galaxy 2 charm, with a bunch of really fun elements, like again the iconic slide and the boss fight, but even the rest of the level, which is a bit more simple, is still enjoyable. That is in part due to the level design just being pretty good, but also the vibe of this galaxy, which I really like. I love the music here. It's a much less bland and more interesting take on a Mario Galaxy desert song than what Dusty Dune did, and the skybox is honestly one of, if not my favorite in Galaxy 2. It looks super mysterious and grand, and complements the music and gameplay of Slipsand super well. So that was the first star, but like I already mentioned, my favorite is the second one. So the mission starts the same way as the first one, but then you get to this closed off area containing the Sunshine Sandbird. Not only is this a pretty cool reference, it's also an incredibly fun and unique element. The Sandbird acts pretty much like an auto-scroller, being a platform that moves on its own, with a bunch of cactuses and Magikoopas that shoot fire spells at you, both destroying parts of the bird temporarily. All of this forces you to manage your position on the platform constantly to make sure you're not going to fall off of it into the quicksand below. At the end, the tension even gets upped a bit with this silver chomp dropping down and chasing you for the last few seconds. The gameplay and difficulty in this section is just so balanced and incredible. Plus the reference is awesome, and the Sandbird in general is a super fun and unique element. Honestly, this is not only my favorite star in Slipsand, but also one of my favorites in the whole game. I absolutely love it. Anyway, I think that's enough drooling over Slipsand 2. Even though it's easily the highlight of the stage for me, Slipsand in general is also an incredibly solid and fun galaxy. It barely gets anything wrong, and for that, I think it more than deserves its place in the S tier. Number 12, Melty Monster Galaxy. Melty Monster is really the kind of weird shit I live for. The first mission here starts off pretty normal. It's just a regular, cool-ass Melty Molten-like mission, with a bunch of lava planets, waves, magmas, and magmargs. Okay, who the fuck made these names? What the hell is this? Well, anyway, that mission is really fun. It's definitely short, but I love the ending, and it's overall a great time. But then, for whatever reason, Melty Monster just decides it's gonna be a bowling level. Yep, you heard me right, there's a bowling galaxy in this game. And it's also a World 6 lava-themed galaxy at the same time. Like I said, this is really some weird shit. So, after that, the second star has you rolling down these purple platforms using the rock mushroom and hitting starbit crystals and enemies to get to the star. This level is also particularly exciting and difficult, since you can't stop the roll of the rock mushroom in this section, so you're forced to roll your way through this entire mission without ever stopping. And then, the third mission fully commits to the bowling thing by having you actually knock down bowling pins. It's another of the Chimp's challenges, where he has you knocking down pins, like I said, with the rock mushroom. You have to knock down most of them to get a high enough score, and they progressively get harder to hit as more and more hazards get added. It's an absolute blast of a mission, and an incredibly unique creative idea. It's honestly amongst my favorite stars in the game, and even the other quote-unquote bowling mission is super fun as well. You really wouldn't expect a random 180 on the theming here to work, especially considering how great of a lava level the first star was, but man does it work. It was definitely a bold move to make such unique and seemingly out of place stars, but it more than paid off because the last two missions of this galaxy are absolutely amazing. All in all, Melty Monster is an incredibly creative and fun galaxy that I always love revisiting. Number 11, Starshine Beach Galaxy. You know, I used to not really like Starshine Beach that much, but I guess something clicked while making this video because the longer I spent rearranging my list, the higher this galaxy ended up placing. I don't really know why. I mean, I know why I like it this much. I just don't know why that wasn't already the case before I started working on this ranking, because Starshine Beach truly is a masterpiece. Well, okay, that might be a bit extreme, but I really love this level. The atmosphere here is top-notch, the sunshine references are really cool, Yoshi is a blast to control with the Dash Pepper and Blimp Fruit, the Cloud Flower is also a blast to use, the Comet Medal here is honestly really well placed, the Chuckster NPCs are really charming, there is just so much to love about this stage, it's insane. Okay, well let's just do a run through of the stars as per usual. The first one is definitely the most tame, yet it's still solid as hell. Exploring the main planet full of sunshine references with Yoshi is really lovely. The beach vibe here is amazing, and obviously it's super fun to use the two good Yoshi power-ups throughout the mission. The collectibles here are also placed super well. I already mentioned the Comet Medal, but the Silver Star are also well hidden. They're in spots that actually make you go out of your way and explore the area, which is obviously a great thing for an open planet like this one. The second mission though is the one for me that steps things up, and it's also probably my favorite of the three. You have to go back to the underwater area to climb up the structure from above. Then, up here, you can spawn a Cloud Flower and bring it to this tower using a leaf boat to climb up the tower and reach the star. This is another really good exploration mission. I love how it actually makes use of the deep underwater area, I love how it uses the Cloud Flower, the greatest power-up known to man, and it's overall a super creative and unique star. I really like it. Anyway, there's still a star I haven't covered, and it's the Prankster Comet, and it's also one of my favorite purple coin levels in the whole duology. Here you have to collect 100 of 130 purple coins across the level using Yoshi and the Dash Pepper, and it's super fun. This star is so fast-paced, so fun, so original, it's honestly nearly flawless. I wish other purple coin comets did stuff like this. So yeah, Starshine Beach is really good, consistent with its level design and creativity, and it has a great beach vibe. Overall, it's a phenomenal galaxy, and a more than great addition to this game's level roster. Number 10, Bowser's Galaxy Generator. Galaxy Generator is one of 3 galaxies in this game that I'd say I love mainly because of non-gameplay elements. The other 2 are some I'll cover later on, but for this one, the non-gameplay elements in question is the cutscenes. Just like for the last level of Galaxy 1, the cutscenes here are really what make this galaxy top tier. Like the tense one before you enter the level, the one when you finish it, and the interactive credits, it's so amazing. Now, sure, the ending here isn't nearly as cinematic and emotional as in Galaxy 1, but I think that's pretty fitting for this game, and it still very much leaves me with a satisfying sense of finality to this big space adventure. There's also a lot of stuff you unlock with this stage, and that are therefore tied to it, like World S, which is actually really surprising on a first playthrough, and of course the green stars, which I honestly really like, even though that's definitely not the case for most people. That event also has a unique cutscene. Instead of unlocking World S after finishing Galaxy Generator, here you'll get to watch this absolutely adorable cutscene of Rosalina in the library reading to her Lumas with the young Master Luma holding Luigi's cap. Like, that's just really f***ing cute, you can't tell me it's not. Plus there's the Luma and the Hat playing during this, which is honestly one of my favorite songs from the entire Galaxy sub-series. It's so good. And to be fair, even gameplay-wise, this galaxy is great. It's a fun and difficult gauntlet of challenges that uses a lot of creative set pieces while still managing really well to keep the tense Bowser level vibe. There's so many standout sections here, like flying over lava with a flower, the 2D Clown Mario section, the Yoshi area with the Dash Pepper and the snake blocks, and it's all really fun and flows super well together. And all that leads to, unfortunately, by far the worst part of this galaxy, the final Bowser fight. Now the fight at first is fine, it's just the classic Galaxy 2 Bowser fight, but once you defeat him, you get the big plot twist where Bowser comes back and is somehow way more ridiculous here than he was even in his first appearance. Every Mario Galaxy player will tell you this last phase sucks and is super easy, and they're right, it's incredibly disappointing. I mean, at least the setting and the twist are both really cool and well executed, but in terms of gameplay, this fight absolutely does not deliver. Seriously, it's crazy how anticlimactic this last phase is, especially when you consider the context of where it is in the game. Okay, to be fair though, aside from that tiny drawback, the first mission of this stage is really good, definitely one of my favorites in the game. Oh, and I guess the second one exists. Yeah, it's the main level with the timer. As much as I found that to be really effective for the 2 other Bowser levels, here I don't think it works nearly as well. The main star carried a lot of weight and had a great sense of finality, so I feel like it would have worked a lot better on its own, and honestly getting a prankster comment of it doesn't add anything. It really feels like it was made purely out of obligation to have 2 power stars. Even with that though, the first mission is absolutely phenomenal, and is easily enough to carry this galaxy to the top 10 on its own. Number 9, Bowser Jr.'s Fearsome Fleet. Alright, this game has Bowser Jr. levels. I actually kind of forgot about that. I mean, the last of his appearances we saw was like 20 entries ago, so... And actually, speaking of that, what a comeback from Junior. We went from a solid level with a decent boss fight to Fearsome Fleet, an incredible level with one of my favorite bosses in the game. The actual level part itself doesn't sound that appealing at first, being just pretty much an auto-scroller, but it's really fun somehow. Like, yeah, the platforms move kinda slowly, but at least you're using Yoshi, which makes up for it. And there's also always a bunch of obstacles and things to avoid on the ride. Either bullet bills, or space mines, or giant airships that come out of portals. Okay, sure, why not? Anyway, my point is, this level really does a lot to stay dynamic and fun, even with a premise that doesn't sound like that. It also does a great job at introducing the mechanic of being able to eat and spit back out bullet bills with Yoshi, which is the basis of the boss fight of this galaxy, the Mega Hammer. If you want my full thoughts on that fight, honestly just watch my galaxy boss ranking, but basically, this fight is awesome because big cool robot. Well, I mean, also because it's incredibly fun, engaging, pretty difficult, and super unique. Oh, and then I guess there's also a Daredevil fight of Mega Hammer. I mean, it's fun, it definitely works for this boss fight, but it's not like the most interesting thing in the world. I mean, to be fair, Fearsome Fleet really did not need its second star to be some masterpiece or anything. The first star already filled that role, and honestly, I think it's perfect for castle levels in the Galaxy game to just have one substantial mission. All in all, Fearsome Fleet is an amazing finisher to World 3, and I think the only level that's got it beaten in its category is... Number 8, Bowser Jr.'s Boom Bunker. So, spoilers for the aforementioned Galaxy boss ranking, but back when I made that video, the Boomsday Machine was easily my number 1 spot, and it still very much is nowadays. Honestly, I think it might even just be my favorite boss in the entire mainline Mario series. Again, if you want a deeper analysis of it, just go watch the video. For now, I'll focus on this galaxy as a whole, starting with the actual level. Just like the previous segment, it's really great. I mean, you literally start off with the destroyed remains of Mega Hammer right in your face as soon as you boot up the level. That's just cool as fuck. Like, that's an incredible element for the story progression. And also, again, it's just insanely cool to see the remains of the boss you just defeated 2 worlds ago in the next Bowser Jr. Galaxy. Like, that is such a novel concept. And it's even still shooting bullet bills, which you use to break this cage that unlocks a cannon, which is like the big thing of this galaxy. You have to use it to aim at this target, and then shoot yourself right out of the cannon in order to progress through the stage. You do that once more, then you get your first glimpse at a Cloudflower in this level, which is when you know some awesome shit is about to happen. And it sure is, because right after that is the fight against the Boomsday Machine, and god, it is so phenomenal. It's difficult, it's incredibly fun, it's unique and original, there's a great difficulty curve between the 3 phases. This boss genuinely just gets everything right, it's kind of crazy actually. So already an absolute banger of a galaxy, but remember there's a second star here, and it's absolutely insane. It's yet again a Daredevil run, so pretty typical, but instead of replaying the Boomsday Machine, you replay not only that, but the entire stage on top of it. And there's a new poison section added too. Like, this is just crazy. This adds such a big layer of difficulty, making this already amazing base mission one of my absolute favorites in the whole game. I love how it twists the Daredevil Comet formula, and it's just a blast to play through in general. Boom Bunker is just a consistently great galaxy, and it's easily my favorite castle level in the whole game. Number 7, Shiverburn Galaxy. God, I love Shiverburn Galaxy so much. You know a stage is good when it used the same theme as the Galaxy 1 level, which was already really strong and well designed, and then somehow managed to be way better. The fire and ice theme here is executed incredibly well, with a ton of memorable elements like the volcano, the first planet which you freeze from lava to ice, the meteor rain, the boss fight. This galaxy is so unforgettable. On top of that, it's also super fun, super consistently. The first mission is a great way to introduce the galaxy. It goes wild with the theme, it's really creative and difficult, and the boss at the end is amazing. The second mission is another one of the Chimp's challenges, and by this point I think you know how I feel about those. It's really fun, and pretty much just a better version of the one in Freezy Flake. Then the Prankster Comet isn't the most thrilling thing in the world, but it's still pretty fun to plow through a bunch of these Octogoombas while ice skating and using the Rainbow Star. It's honestly pretty crazy how this galaxy manages to be this consistently great. To be honest, that's about all I have to say about Shiverburn. It's got a really cool theme, some amazing missions, and that's pretty much it. Just simply great stuff all around. Number 6, Cloudy Court Galaxy. Oh wow, it's the galaxy based around the one power-up I've been glazing the hell out of for this whole video in the S tier, how surprising. Okay, but seriously though, I was obviously bound to like a galaxy centered around the Cloudflower, though you may be surprised to see this slower than a certain other stage. I'm pretty sure most people do like Cloudy Court more than Fluffy Bluff, but I do personally think it's a bit worse for a few reasons. First of all, I think this feels less like a cohesive environment than Fluffy Bluff does. Cloudy Court is kind of just a jumble of small different planets that feel like they're floating in the middle of nowhere, and that don't really feel that connected. The first Cloudy Galaxy was more open with bigger spaces and less linearity, which in my opinion gave it a vibe that was a lot more enjoyable and special, as to where this level feels more like platforms chained one after the other. I don't know, that might sound a bit weird, but basically I like the atmosphere in Fluffy Bluff a lot more than here. I'm also not a huge fan of the 2D sections. They do work well and they are fun, but I still think the Cloudflower is at its best when using a 3D plane. And honestly, that's about everything that sets these two galaxies apart, and everything I have to say about Cloudy Court that's not outright positive. I mean, the missions are overall amazing, the atmosphere is still top-notch, despite not being the best there is, the Cloudflower is here, there's really everything to make a stellar stage here. The first mission is probably the best of the three. It's really the meat and potatoes of the galaxy, making great use of the Cloudflower with a bunch of wind instruments as platforms, and the last bit with a big windmill and the star all the way at the top is such a great ending. The secret star is also really solid. It makes you platform across this giant bowl of poison using the Cloudflower to collect silver stars. What really makes this star interesting though is the cosmic clones chasing you. They add a ton of tension and difficulty to this, especially since if you get hit here, you lose the cloud suit and pretty much die instantly from the poison. It's overall a really great and creative mission, which sadly isn't something I can exactly say about the Prankster Comet in this galaxy. It basically takes the first mission, removes the Cloudflower, and adds a shit ton of cosmic clones. Sounds like a cool idea in theory, right? Well, yeah, actually. Platforming through the level as regular Mario is super fun and feels really natural, and obviously the cosmic clones are as great of an addition as ever, but the star definitely feels a bit tame compared to the other two. Obviously it's still good, but it doesn't quite reach the highs of Cloudy Court's other missions for me. Still, this galaxy as a whole is phenomenal. It's fun, creative, memorable, everything about it is so amazing. Number 5, Chompworks Galaxy. Chompworks is just f***ing excellent, man. The theming is so original. Its Chain Chomp Factory already sounds like a great idea for a galaxy on paper, and it's even greater in practice. It's so well executed, with a perfectly fitting music track and visual identity, and some incredible gameplay and level design to go with it. I absolutely love all the puzzles they make you complete with the rolling chomps in the first mission. It's such an inspired idea made even better by all the obstacles thrown your way, like the platforms that move up and down or the flip panels. And the Comet even improves on that concept further by having you do the last section again but with cosmic clones chasing you, making the whole thing way more tense and hard to manage. It's legitimately one of, if not my favorite use of cosmic clones in the game. It's just pure genius. The second star is also amazing, which sounds counterintuitive since it uses a spring mushroom, the worst thing mankind ever made, but you can actually skip it entirely in this mission. Not only does this render the power-up completely useless, which is hilarious, the level is also a blast to play as regular Mario. It's actually pretty difficult to jump over all these obstacles that were made with Spring Mario in mind, even if it remains possible the whole way through. Now that's especially true for the last planet, where you have to climb up this entire tower without the spring mushroom, which might not look that bad, but you can't wall jump off the back wall, making a lot of the jumps here really tight. It's a super fun and difficult challenge that I always go for whenever I replay this game. All around, Chompworks is pretty much perfect, and easily one of my favorite galaxies in the whole game. Number 4, Fluffy Bluff Galaxy. And yep, there it is. Honestly, the stuff I love about Fluffy Bluff is mostly what I said in the Cloudy Court segment. I love the use of the Cloudflower, the music, the more open areas, coupled with the lack of 2D spaces, letting you really go wild with the Cloudflower. Everything here is just phenomenally good. And actually, to expand on my point of the level being more open, I also love how on top of that, there's a ton of secrets and things to explore here, especially on the first planet. Like, there's so many one-ups and question mark blocks and little secrets everywhere. It's genuinely so fun to run around the place with a cloud suit to try and find everything that's hidden. Also, like I again said in the Cloudy Court segment, I absolutely love the vibe of this galaxy. That is mostly due to the fantastic music track, but that and the kind of cloudy sky theme make the level feel so exciting and grandiose, making for what I personally think might just be the galaxy with the most underrated atmosphere in the game. Seriously, the place feels so lively, like this stage is just fun to be in, even outside of gameplay. Not to say that the gameplay is any worse though, because it's nothing short of amazing. Just like for Cloudy Court, the first star is the main exploration mission around the galaxy. You go through a couple of planets with a bunch of enemies, open spaces, split paths, and opportunities to learn how to use the Cloudflower, since this is chronologically the first time it appears in the game, and finally you meet up with the chimp who gives you a star for making it all the way up this mountain. Sadly, he doesn't make you play any of his minigames here. It'd be really nice if he did that in this galaxy specifically. Oh, and remember when I said the first area has a bunch of secrets? Well, as it turns out, one of those secrets is a sling star atop of this tree, which shoots you up to the Slangri Luma on a cloud. Obviously here you do the classic coin grinding bullshit, before the Luma transforms into this big tower full of moving clouds and platform. Much like the tower in Chompworks, it's a big vertical climb with a star at the top, and much like that tower, you can also skip the power-up that's supposed to be mandatory here. It's definitely not as tricky here, but it's still a fun challenge to spice up the mission. And speaking of missions, we still got one to cover, and oh, look at that, the chimp's back. This time it's pretty much identical to the challenge in Honey Hop. You got a bunch of Octogoombas everywhere, and you have to hit a certain amount of points by stomping on them and getting combos. It's still just as satisfying here to jump on a ton of enemies, though I think the concept did work a tad bit better in Honey Hop. This is still a really fun and creative idea for a star though, and I can pretty much say that about the galaxy as a whole. It's really creative, fun, memorable, it has a great vibe and design, and it's definitely one of the standouts of Galaxy 2's level selection. Number 3, Taltron Galaxy. Alright, so now out of the 3 entries we've got left, the last 2 are the 2 other galaxies aside from Galaxy Generator that I like mainly for non-gameplay reasons. Meaning, Taltron technically isn't my number 1 spot, but it is in spirit since it's the last entry I put this high purely because of its gameplay and atmosphere. And holy shit, what's some gameplay and atmosphere? I'm not even gonna try to hold any suspense here. Yes, half the reason Taltron is in the top 3 is the slide. Yes, the slide is amazing. Yes, the purple coin mission on it is amazing. Yes, the remake of the slide theme from 64 is amazing. Yes, literally everything that has to do with the slide is amazing. All of this has been said time and time again, and for good reason. It's an incredibly unique, fun, and exhilarating set piece that makes for legitimately some of the greatest sequences of gameplay this game has to offer. Everybody's been saying this since the game dropped, and they're right, the 2 slide missions are phenomenal. I'm not even gonna bother going into detail about them, because odds are you already know exactly why they're so beloved. Instead, let's talk about the theme here, because I feel like it's really underappreciated. Now, Shri might not sound like the most interesting thing to base a whole galaxy on, but trust me, it works. Surprisingly, the devs actually managed to make a lot out of that theme. They pair it with, once again, great music, though by this point that's basically a given from this game, with really original concepts like this huge tree you climb or the slide, and most importantly of all, with Yoshi and the blimp fruit. That power-up makes the first mission full of vertical platforming, which is pretty fitting since, you know, trees are tall, and also pretty fun. The blimp fruit is really fun to use, and you need it all throughout the level to climb up trees, collect launch star pieces, and climb up another tree but the inside of it this time. Crazy innovation, I know. Seriously though, the mission's really well designed, and I think it's very telling that they managed to make the blimp fruit of all things super fun to use. And that's by far the worst of the 3 stars in this stage, by the way. Taltron's selection of missions is genuinely so impressively great that it's kind of hard to believe it's real. This galaxy is so actively and consistently fun at every turn, and it has such a great vibe and theme, it's so f***ing good, man. Taltron is really as close as this game's level design gets to perfection, and I think you could even argue it reaches that point. But yet, there's still 2 more left to go. Honestly, if this was a more objective and less biased ranking, and if I only took into consideration how well designed as a level each galaxy is, this would definitely be number 1. But there's still 2 more levels that I love so much that I could not in good conscience put them any lower than the 2 top spots. So with that, let's stop wasting time and move on right away to the penultimate entry. Number 2, Grandmaster Galaxy. I mean, of course this was gonna be high up. If Galaxy Generator was a fantastic ending to Galaxy 2, Grandmaster is an absolutely perfect one in every regard. Everything about this stage is so miraculously good. The gameplay, the level design, the balance and the difficulty, the choice in music, which stays consistently fitting all throughout, all the aura and significance Grandmaster has from simply being the very end of the journey. Seriously, everything about this level is so unbelievably amazing that I can't really think of any other word to describe it than perfect. Already, the cutscenes in Galaxy Generator held a lot of weight and emotion just from being what made the game come to an end, but in Grandmaster, that's cranked up to 11, not only because it's really the finale this time, but also because the non-gameplay things here are even stronger. Like the little moment when you defeat those Boomerang Bros in the perfect run and you finally get to meet with Rosalina in person before collecting the star and hearing that jingle for the very last time is so emotional. It's hard to describe, but it really feels magical. It's like all of what makes Galaxy 2 such a special game to me is encapsulated into this one small instant. If there's one part of the game that never fails to make me cry at least a little every time I play through it again, it's most definitely this one. And sure, me enjoying Grandmaster this much does partially come down to the huge amount of nostalgia and attachment I have towards Mario Galaxy 2, but even beyond that, I feel like it's such an incredibly iconic and well-designed stage that I kinda have to put it this high. And as I've mentioned, this galaxy is also super fun, outside of the emotional aspect. Every section in here is difficult and well thought out, and they all flow together super nicely to make for an absolute blast of a level. That's already very much true for the first mission, but as someone who enjoys difficulty in video games, god, the perfect run is so great. It's just the first already amazing mission, but with even more tension and difficulty. It really lives up to its name because it truly is perfect, and it is what finally makes the S tier come to an end. The S tier, not the list. That's right, because we are now officially in S plus territory. Yes, this game has a level so good I have to make up a tier to categorize it. The S plus thing is more symbolic than anything, it's just there to set apart the one galaxy in this game that is truly special to me in a way that no other Mario level is, or probably ever will be. So, the number one spot on this list goes to... Number 1, Slimy Spring Galaxy. My god, Slimy Spring is really something else. Okay, well, first of all, I want to preface this by saying something. You should probably watch my Slimy Spring analysis first, or this segment won't make any sense. I'm serious, without the context of that video, everything I'm about to say will most likely make zero sense to you. Okay, so now that you've watched it, let's actually talk about Slimy Spring. It would probably sound a bit stupid to say of any Mario level that it is life-changing, yet I can say with full confidence, no matter how dumb I sound, that Slimy Spring is life-changing. It's an absolute masterpiece that is powerful and emotional in a way nothing else from this game is. In fact, I'd even argue Slimy Spring is the only level in this entire franchise that is closer to a standalone piece of art than to a video game stage. As I discussed in my video essay on the galaxy, I believe it to be an analogy for grief and or depression. Now, as much as that is entirely just my personal interpretation, I still think Slimy Spring is an analogy for something, or at the very least that it's trying to send a message and that it's more than just a level. That's why I thought it deserved its own tier, because much like Battle Belt, which was also alone in its tier, Slimy Spring is blatantly different from any other level in Galaxy 2, but this time not for being so terrible that you can feel while playing it that it's only there out of necessity, rather it sticks out for the completely opposite reason. It's by far the stage in this game that, to me, feels the most heartfelt, genuine, and artistic, and it feels the most like it was brought to life by someone who was actually passionate about the game they were working on. Now, to be totally fair, it's very much possible that I'm completely wrong about all of this. Who knows, maybe this galaxy is just a simple level, maybe I'm looking into it too much and it doesn't have a deeper meaning. But does that really matter? Because at the end of the day, no matter if I'm right or wrong, I still get enjoyment out of Slimy Spring and out of my own interpretation of it. The message I got out of it still hit really close to home and genuinely helped me at a pretty dark time in my life. So again, does it really matter whether my interpretation makes sense or not? If I'm being honest, this placement isn't really fair. Yeah, Slimy Spring only placed this high because of the huge personal bias and attachment I hold towards it, but I just love it so much that I couldn't bring myself to put it any lower than number 1. It's truly powerful and emotionally moving to me in a way that I don't think anything else in this franchise gets even close to achieving. This galaxy is easily the most special and memorable to me out of this game's selection. It's beautiful in such a unique sense, and I honestly don't think a lobotomy would be enough to make me forget that last moment with the sunset. Well, that's about everything I had to say about Slimy Spring, which means I can finally close out this segment, and which means this absolute behemoth of a ranking is finally over. And that is my full list. Thank you so much for staying until the end and watching me ramble about Super Mario Galaxy 2 for an hour. It's been an absolute blast working on this video. Galaxy 2 is easily my favorite video game of all time, and it was incredibly fun to revisit it again for this ranking. This was honestly just a huge passion project. I really wanted to finally yap as much as I could about my favorite game, and I doubt anyone's actually gonna watch this whole thing, but if you did, thanks again for sticking around till the end, and I'm going to bed. This took a lot out of me.